Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Marsha Kerr Talley, your emotional wellness coach, helping you to navigate the emotional complexities of life. Because we do know they can get complex, but it could all be so simple. Like Miss Lauren Hill says, it could all be so simple. So today I would like to share with you one of the simple strategies that I use to help me to develop emotional intelligence, emotional balance, to calm my behind down. And it is simply journaling. Journaling is underrated, but it's absolutely effective. So this weekend, I kind of spiraled. And the reason for that is I had a brief conversation with someone who basically suggested that I did not have unconditional love for myself, which is why I was attracting unemotional or emotionally unavailable men. And that triggered me. It triggered me to the point of I really started to figure out why. Why would she say that? Now, of course, you do have to take into account whenever you speak to someone, whenever you reach out to someone for advice, they do not know you. They do not know your story. And even though they may think they do based on their previous experiences or that of other people they've talked to, they don't know your story. So and I want you to hold on to this throughout this conversation and every time that we speak, every time that you listen to me, anytime you hear me give out some advice or suggestion or tips or strategies, I want you to hold on to this. Nobody can tell you what to do with your life. The only thing that any of us can do, counselors, therapists, doctors, the only thing they can do is to help guide you back to the answers that are already within yourself, or to give you the tools that you may not have or may not know how to use so you can find the answers and use those answers for yourself. But ultimately, the work comes down to you. Ultimately, you are responsible for using whatever tips, strategies, tricks, advice, suggestion that someone gives you. You are the only one that is actually able to do with that what you will for your life, because your human experience, no one has experienced the thoughts that you have. No one has experienced, and we have shared experience. So do not get me wrong. We have shared experience. And this is why many of us can empathize, because we have shared experience, but nobody sequentially have gone through the things that you have. No one has been in the same shoes, exact same position as you have. There are variables that affect who you are. There are variables that shape your mindset and your behaviors. And some of those things are unique to you. So I'm not going to say that they're all unique, because I do believe we have shared experiences. But the point I am making is there is a reason why you are the way you are. And it's because of everything that you've been through, everything that you've seen, everything you've heard, everything you've felt. And those things shape who you are today. They influence your behaviors. They influence your perception of the world. They affect how you think about yourself and other people. That's the reality of it. So when someone shows up in your space who may know you or they don't know you, but they get acquainted in zero point 0.5 seconds and they say something, they may say something from what they know, which may trigger you because they don't know you. However, and this is the part I really want to emphasize, whenever you are triggered by something that someone says, an emotion that pops up, a thought that comes out, something, whenever you are triggered, use that trigger as a key to unlock other areas of yourself, because there's something beneath that trigger. There's something that is causing you to react in that way. And sometimes it's important to explore. Now, I will caution you. Sometimes you cannot explore those areas by yourself because you do not have the tools, or you have to be ready. You have to be ready, and you have to be willing to work through the uncovering and the discovering. However, sometimes you don't have the tools to do it by yourself. And this is where you need to work with someone who knows how to help navigate you through those feelings and through unlocking certain areas of yourself. Because sometimes when you do that, when you're not ready to do that, when you're ill prepared to do that, when you are unskilled to do that, you can actually unearth some things that you can't handle. And that could have you spiraling out of control. And that could cause you to go into a completely different direction. So I do want to caution you on that. And I'm emphasizing that because as much as I am an emotional wellness coach, as much as I have been through, I still found myself spiraling. Now, the difference is I did have certain tools and certain things I could grab a hold of to help me to get myself together, right? So I'm not infallible. So the words coming out of my mouth does not mean I'm an expert. It means that I'm experienced. It means that there's some things I can help you through because I've experienced it myself. I am an embodiment of the work that I do, which means everything I tell you, I've done it or I'm doing it. Okay. So I want you to hold on to that. One, people show up in your life. They don't always know you. And even if they think they know you, they don't know what you have experienced, seen, or felt. So they don't know why you are who you are. So everything they say to you, you have to take it with a grain of salt and you have to apply it as necessary because it is your life. And also, whenever you're triggered, make sure you find ways to discover, go in that direction. You want to go in that direction. It's an indication of something else. And I think triggers, in my humble opinion, triggers are actually a good sign for you because now you know what area you can work on. There's sometimes we are just working blindly and, we don't know what to do, what do I need to work on? Like in my case, I'm like, okay, I've done all this healing work. I've done a lot of things. I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready for all the things that I believe I deserve and I wanted. And this woman said to me that you have pain and shame and guilt that you are still hiding. So you are actually attracting what you deserve, not what you think you deserve. And that triggered me, child. Honey. When I tell you it triggered me, I was borderline, not if fully lined, offended. Because I'm like, girl, you do not know how much work I've done. I am one of the most transparent people. And I mean, I'm transparent with myself. I prefer to be as naked as possible. And I'm talking figuratively and literally. But I like to be as candid as possible. And the reason for that is I really do not want any hidden crevice or corner where I'm concealing things that could be sabotaging me. Because I do understand that if you do not uncover certain areas of yourself, you think that they're not working on you, but they're working. You think that they're not influencing things and affecting how you do things, but they are. So I understand that. So when she said that, I'm like, honey, do you know how much work sister girl have been doing on herself? How dare you? But it allowed me because now I've also developed certain skills and a certain skill set to say, okay, Marsha, you are pissed off. You're offended by something this stranger said to you. Why? What is there? What is there that you need to explore? Because I was for real. And so one of the first things I did I went to my website and the thought came to my mind. And you know how the algorithms sometimes, and you wonder, like, is this the universe? Is someone spying on me? And I was watching something that was very relevant to how I was feeling at the time. And someone in the comments mentioned emotional attachment styles. And she just mentioned, you have to know your attachment styles. And that took me it took me further down that rabbit hole, because I know when it comes to romantic relationships, I do respond in a certain way whenever I like this person and they do not respond or reciprocate in the way that I think they should. And I react a certain way. And so I wanted to know, even with this woman, she said that first. And then I'm like, okay, I want to explore some more about myself. And that was the first step for that day, was me discovering my attachment style. So I created a quiz that is now on my website, marshakerrtalley.com. And the quiz is asking, what is your attachment style? Why is this quiz important? And I thought it was invaluable for me because it gave me an answer that I really didn't know before. I really didn't know this. So it's a series, there are 10 questions, and answer them as honestly as possible. And I did, because I actually like to be as transparent as possible. I really do. I really do. It's one of my superpowers, which is why I was offended. Another reason. But anyway, so I created the quiz using different tools, online tools and such. And then I took the quiz. And the answer to the result from that quiz was that I had anxious emotional attachment style. And I want to read that for you. Let me get my phone out. So I want to read what that means for you, because this gets in that answer, which it resonated deeply with me. Like, it wasn't, oh, this was just another quiz and blah, blah. No, this one resonated deeply with me. I could see this to be true because I know myself. And I have seen over and over again that this is who I am. So let me see if I can find it here. So, and I also, after that, I forgot to tell you, I also wrote a blog. I wrote a blog to talk about emotional attachment styles, specifically anxious attachment style, and how to deal with it. And I'm trying to find the results here. Oh, I must have deleted it. Yikes. Okay. So my result basically told me what anxious, and I want you to go ahead and just go and take the test, the quiz. But basically, people with attachment styles, anxious attachment styles, oh my God, I'm getting my words convoluted. With anxious attachment styles, they usually exhibit these types of behaviors, which are very, very true for me. Fear of abandonment and separation, constant need for reassurance and validation, overanalysis of relationship dynamics, fear of rejection and sensitivity to perceived signs of distance or disinterest from their partner, difficulty in feeling secure and trusting in relationships generally. And generally, everyone starts out at 0 for me when it comes to trust. But reading what was good about that is realizing that I'm not alone and there's not something wrong with me, because romantic relationships especially brings out layers of me that I don't see when I'm just focused on business and when I'm just focused on my platonic relationships. I just don't see those parts of myself. So unless I am in a romantic situation, there are parts of me I never get to see. Do you understand? Like, I know that I have levels of trust issues. I know that part. But there are other parts of here that I honestly would not know about if I wasn't. And even in my platonic relationships, I've seen myself go through some of those, exhibiting some of those same behaviors. So I knew this was true for me, 100% true for me, 100% true for me. But the truth of the matter is, we're not alone when it comes to these types of attachment styles. In fact, they are developed from childhood. They're developed from childhood, in our childhood years, or during our childhood years. And the reason, it's basically the relationships we've had with, our guardians, or those people who are supposed to take care of us, and those people we're supposed to trust, and they're supposed to have our best interests at heart. And a lot of our attachment styles develop there when we're much, much younger. And they shape how we do things now. And unless we get to a point where we recognize through self-awareness and through introspection, and that comes with someone or something showing you yourself, being a mirror to you. And sometimes that's a professional. Sometimes it's your life. Sometimes it's your 16-year-old daughter where you get to see yourself. Sometimes it's a stranger telling you something and you get triggered. And then you try to use that to figure out some more things about yourself. Until you recognize those patterns, you're going to keep repeating them. And the danger in keep repeating those over and over and over is that you're going to keep getting the same results. And more than likely, the results you're getting, they are not helping. They're not what you want. Like, you want a life of joy, of fulfillment, where you have a loving relationship, a healthy relationship, where you're having fun and you're just basking in the enjoyment of life, the softness of life, the lightness of life, the wealth of life. That's what you want. You don't want to be carrying around the burdens of childhood trauma or adult issues. You don't. You want to be healed, and you want to be living in your healed era. You want to, level up from those places of pain and distress. You do. So it's important to find ways to recognize the patterns. And so journaling was definitely the simple strategy that helped me this weekend. So I did the quiz, found out that, and I was like, yep, locked in. That's you, Marsha. Yeah, girl, that is you. So after I did that, I was able to accept it, because that's the first part, right? You can't make any kind of change in your life if you don't accept there's a problem. If you don't accept that this is you, and you accept it. I'm not saying that you are the problem. Listen to me very carefully, because that narrative is very destructive. I am not saying you are the problem, and I'm not asking you to accept that. What I'm asking you to accept is that you have patterns of behaviors that may be hindering you from living the life that you want to live. And in order for you to change what's going on in your life and create what you actually want and attract what you actually want, you have to first accept that this area of my life needs change. This area of my life, I need work. This area of my life, I do need to put in some effort. You have to accept that. And with accepting that, you're accepting you, and you're still loving that part of you. And you may not like that part of you. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like that I act bizarre, for the lack of a better word, bizarre, when I don't hear from the person I'm interested in a couple of days. I don't like that part of me. But I love me still. because I understand, and this has taken years. So for some of you, you are at the beginning of your healing journey. So this part, when you start seeing stuff about yourself, you may start disliking you, but it's not you need to dislike. Accept you and love you unconditionally. And I think this is what that lady was trying to say, is there are parts of yourself that is not lovable, not likable, but you're loving them anyway without conditions. Like, you don't have to be perfect. And that's something else I have to work on. And it's not like, oh, this is a laundry list of things I have to work on and work on and work on. It's not that, because sometimes it feels like that, Lord, everlasting list of things I need to work on. Sometimes it feels like that. But it's not that. It is, you're recognizing, okay, this is a part of me. And this part of me is actually low-key sabotaging me. It's actually not working in my best interest. So because it's not working in my best interest, let me change some things up, right? It's just like when you're at work and they go over what's working and what's not working. You look at your life and you go, all right, I'll take inventory. This is not working. This is working. I'll keep this, but this one needs to change, or it needs to go. And you have to do those things with your life, right? You have to, so you can live optimally. You have to do those things with your life. And so after I did the quiz, I did the blog, I decided I was going to journal. So this was over days, actually, by the way. I think on Friday I did the quiz and the blog, or maybe it was Saturday. And then I journal on those days. And usually I journal at night. Yesterday, which was Sunday, I decided to skip out on the gym. Don't do that, by the way. You can do both. You can journal and go to the gym. But yesterday I was loving my bed, man. I was like, yay, the sun is shining through my window. I was loving it. And I just wanted to stay there and write. So I was journaling. And from there, I decided to reach out to someone who I needed to let go. I needed to release from my mind, from my heart, from my womb. And that's another thing. That's another work. And I don't want to keep saying another work, but I'm saying it so that you can, as I'm saying it, that you can take note that these are certain areas that as women, and I'm talking to women specifically now, that sometimes this is an area you have to work on, which is a womb work. And I heard this term before, and I'm just now getting into it. I heard about it a few years ago, 2019, I believe, or 2020, when after I had my miscarriage, and a lady there, an associate, she said something about my womb. And yeah, so I reached out to this person and nipped that in the bud. That was done. And that was good for me. It was good. I entered that conversation with an intention, and that was done. Then from there, as I kept writing, because I really wanted to explore, even though I was offended by what she said about you are hiding pain and shame and guilt, I wanted to explore it. So I got to writing, like all the things that I haven't really shared with other people. Definitely haven't shared it with you guys. But I wanted to share it in my journal. I wanted to put it out there. I wanted to put it on paper. I wanted to unveil it. I wanted to see them. And I'm not scared of revealing that. I'm like, all right, because if you're telling me somehow that's what you picked up, okay, cool. Let me see. Let me see what's under the rug, in the corner, in the crevice, that I might be hiding. Now, this person does a different type of work that could help through that process too, but I wanted to do my own work. I wanted to do my own work and my homework. So yeah, I started to write. And some things came up, and I just started to spiral emotionally. I started to spiral, and I cried, because I am a crier. When I bawl. I do cry. And I cried. And then I spoke to a friend. And then I spoke. And it was just one of those mornings. It was one of those mornings. But the difference is you get up after all of that comes out. And then you make a shift. You make a change. So what the journal did for me yesterday, I was able to put my thoughts on paper, see in black and white, but it was almost like I was telling someone something. I wanted to regurgitate all of that onto paper, and I was able to do that. And sometimes we fear doing that because, one, we're worried about someone picking up our journals and reading it. Sometimes we don't want to see it. We don't want to remember it. We don't want to put it on paper because once it's on paper, it's real, right? It really happened. And sometimes we don't want to face that. I don't know where you are in your healing journey, but I'm just suggesting that you get to a point where you can regurgitate all those things that are in you. And sometimes I'm not going to lie to you. I will not lie. You can't regurgitate, throw up, spill out, spit out all of those things at once. Sometimes you're just not ready to do that. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're still in survival mode, and holding on to it and keeping it in hiding is how you survive. So sometimes you are really not there. But when you are there, don't postpone it. Don't put it off. When you are there, and you will know, the signs will come. I'm telling you that now. The indications will come. You know, sometimes you ask God for a sign, or the universe for a sign, and then the sign come, and then you ask for a next sign. Friend, when the sign come, it's time. It's time. And you address it then. And I will also not lie to you again. It's not going to feel good to begin with. You may even feel crazy. Because I thought at some point, and again, I'm coming from a point where I have been on a healing journey for a long time. Not yesterday, not last week, not last year, years. Years. I haven't been in a relationship with another guy for about 5 years because I needed time to heal. And it took all of that time, and some. And even then, it doesn't feel good when certain parts of you show up, when certain pains show up, when certain distress. It not feel good. It does not feel good. If you've ever thrown up, vomited, is that thing pleasant at first? Is it pleasant when you are over the toilet and you're trying to get that stuff up and out? Does that feel good? No. When does it feel good? When do you feel the relief? When do you feel like exhaling? When do you feel the most empty? It's afterwards. So you have to get that stuff up and out. You have to get it up and out because it's going to make you sick. And I'm not just saying emotionally sick either. Some of your emotional sickness is leaking into your physical well-being, into your physical health, and it's making you physically sick. Some of that emotional baggage, toxicity, poison, some of it is driving you crazy mentally. It's messing with you. You have to get it up and out. You have to. You have to. Don't fear the fact that it's going to be uncomfortable. Don't fear, don't bother yourself about or worried about the fact that it's going to be gross, unlikely, or unlikable, I should say. Don't worry about it looking unattractive. Don't worry about those things. It's part of the process. You have to get it up and out by any means necessary. By any means necessary. Why you want poison lingering in your body? Why you want the toxicity lingering in your emotions, in your subconscious, your unconscious mind? Why? You do not. So whenever there's a trigger, that is the key right there, that you need to open that door. That one right there. That one, that's it. That's it. You want an indication from the universe, from God? Pay attention to the triggers. Pay attention to what triggers you and go in that direction. You may have to tippy toe, child. You may have to get someone to go with you, but you're going to have to do the work by yourself. And you may have assistance, but that work, it's going to be you. It's going to be inner work. And that's scary. And that's why you get a coach. And that's why you get someone who knows what they're doing to help navigate you through that door. And I'm mixing my metaphors here, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. Please get that up and out of you. It's not going to feel good in the moment. I cannot lie to you. It's just not. It's going to disrupt your world. It's going to change some things. Things are not going to be the same afterwards. It's not. But what I can tell you is that after it comes up, you're going to feel the relief. You're going to feel that release. And then you do have to do the work. And this is another part of the healing journey, because that's not where it ends. Then you have to go and you have to unlearn all the habits that you had created, all the coping mechanisms that were in place. Unlearn them and reprogram and rewire yourself with the help of resources and tools and professionals and coaches, so that you can now live a healthier life. Why do you want to do all of that? Because I'm going to tell you, you already know this. There are tons of people who are not willing to do the emotional work because it's too hard. They think it's too hard. It's a lie, because what's too hard is what's actually hard. What is actually hard is when you do not do the work and then the consequences of not doing the work, because it's going to show up in your life. You're going to see the chaos. You're going to see it. You're going to see the consequences of not doing that inner work. It's going to show up. You see some people, and no judgment zone. This is a no judgment zone. So even if I talk about certain things, please know I'm not judging you, because I am no saint. I am in no position to throw stones. The only difference is I am willing and ready to do the work, to be a better me. So there's no glass house over here. But you do see some people, and you see how their life is going, and you just know, as a child, that person did not think this is the adult they were going to become. You know those people. Look at certain adults around you. Look at how their life is. You think at 10 years old, they were like, I want to grow up to be an emotional wreck, an abusive. Do you think they just made a plan? I want ultimate chaos in my life forever and ever. Yay. I don't think so. But if you don't do the work, that's the consequence. So it may feel like it's hard. You may think it's hard to do the work, but it's going to pay off when you do the work. It's going to pay off. It's much better to do the emotional work necessary than not to. So we're going to wrap this up. Couple of things I do want to remind you. When it comes to your emotional wellness, there are areas of yourself that they are in a hiding, and the reason why they're in hiding is because you had to survive whatever painful event that you experience that was so traumatic. Your body and your mind had to do something to protect you. They had to do something to protect you. And in doing so, some of those things were hidden. They hid those things somewhere in your unconscious mind, in your subconscious. They hid that. You don't remember, but your body remembers. So even when your mind forgets, your body remembers. But they hid it away, and it was for your survival. The problem is, as you start to grow and you're trying to come out of survival mode, those things are still there operating, because what they did was they were on the back burner, but they were still telling you how to think, how to speak, what to do for you to survive. They were still pulling the ropes, so to speak. They were still pushing the buttons. They were still the ones in charge because they wanted to make sure you survived. So you have to thank that part of yourself that did that. Without that part of yourself, you would not be where you are today. You wouldn't. You had to make it. And that part of yourself allowed you to make it to where you are now. From this point, you have to find new coping mechanisms, because now you are coming out of survival mode. So you can it's almost like survival mode is, think of a bunker, and you locked yourself in there because so much was going on outside, right? So much disaster and all of this going on outside. So you're in this bunker and you bunker down and you shut the door, and you have all these things in that bunker to survive that period of time. That period of time. You're in that bunker for that period of time to survive. But then there comes a point where you have to come out of the bunker so you can actually live and enjoy life. And so you open the doors. Now, because you've been in survival mode for so long, you've developed certain ways of doing things, certain ways of thinking. It's natural now. It's become natural to you to speak and do and think a certain way. Obviously, naturally, because that was what you were doing for a certain period of time. So you've created those habits. But as you open the door of the bunkers and you're opening it up to the heavens, and it's opening up, there's the light coming in. And yes, there's still going to be thoughts of, oh my gosh, what if, should I, and all of these thoughts. So it's going to take a process for you to really adjust to coming out of that bunker, coming out of that survival mode, coming from under and from being in the darkness and going into the light. That's the process. And it takes work. So if you think about it, like if you're crouched down for a long period of time, it's going to affect your posture. It's going to affect how you walk. People who have been in war zones, they behave differently and function differently because of what they've experienced compared to those people who have never been in those situations. So when you're in survival mode, it's natural that you develop certain habits. So I don't want you to be down on yourself and beat up yourself. That's nothing to beat yourself up about. That is how you survived. So thank that part of you. Thank that part of you who had the wisdom to get you to a safe place. Thank that part of you. And now thank that part of you as you elevate to the next level of your life, which is going to require some unlearning, even though you're honoring everything that you learned during survival mode. You still honor those things you've learned. And it's going to require now some reprogramming, some adjustments, some rewiring as you elevate to the next level of your life. This part is going to require emotional intelligence, which means the ability to adjust based on the scenarios and situations you're in, how well you manage your emotions, how well you give of your availability to others. It's going to take a lot of discernment and wisdom. And that is a new skill set you have to learn. Some of us, we learned that earlier on, and some of us have that locked in. That's not necessarily our weak area, but for some of us, it is. The other thing you cannot take for granted as you elevate to the next level of your human experience is the need to be happy. That's the whole point of this. The whole point of this is that you want to experience joy that you have never experienced before. Because life is not just about bunkering down. Life isn't just about the darkness. It's not just about the heaviness and always being on high alert and always being in protective mode. Life isn't just about that. There is more to it. There is the sun, there is the light, there is the breeze, there is the fun, there is the freedom, there is the joy. And I know joy and having that abundantly scares some of us. We don't know how to handle joy without expecting something else to happen. And I'm going to have that conversation another time. But I wrote a blog on that, so check out my blog, marshakertalley.com/blog. And you can check out some of my blogs on there. But your happiness. Now, when you are going through your elevation and your metamorphosis and you are changing, you're applying all these strategies, you're going in the direction of your triggers, you're uncovering parts of yourself, unearthing rooted things, you're uprooting them, you are going to have to apply happiness. And you're going to have to apply it. Think about it as light lotion. I'm a Black woman. I have to put lotion on. I don't know about anybody else, but that's one thing I learned from a very early age. Lotion got to go on. And sometimes throughout the day, depending on what you're doing and what's going on, you're going to have to apply that lotion several times a day. But you absolutely have to apply it every day. Otherwise, you're going to be ashy. Just out here, just dry. Think of happiness like your lotion. You don't just put it on one day and then that's it. It stay on forever and ever. Because you're going to go through some things. You're going to wash that thing off. Yesterday when I was by my bed on the floor bawling, I washed off my happiness. Mind you, the day before that, I was in the streets having a good old time, wind up, carrying on. I applied my happiness, child. I applied it then. But I can't forget that I needed to apply it again yesterday because I'm going to wash it off. Literally with my tears, I washed it off. And when you go through things, yes, you wash off the happiness. Yesterday, you may have been happy. You may have been blissful. You were in a good place. Something happened. Wash off your happiness. Dry up your happiness. And you're going to have to reapply it. It's the process. You have to apply it daily. That happiness. It's important. This is part of your human experience. And I have to keep saying it. This is not a dress rehearsal. Your life, this life, it is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. It's showtime. Every moment of your waking and sleeping days, this is it. This is it. This is your life. So you have to live it. You can't wait on an event to make you happy. You can't put it off. You can't wait for that person to choose you to be happy. You can't wait to get that position at the job, that role to be happy. It's something you apply each day. One way, and I'm going to leave you with this, to apply your happiness is to be grateful. So back to the journal. This morning I woke up because now I decided I'm going to journal in the mornings and the evening because it's important to have routines. It's important to now I am one of those people. I'm not a planner per se. I'm really not. I like to wing it. And I'm also one of those people who I'm very spontaneous. I like to get up and go and do things. But I do find that having certain routines, especially when you are in recovery and you're healing or all of that, it's helpful. And just in general, if you want to have an effective day, it's just good to start your day, set the intentions for the day through journaling or planning out what you're going to do for the day, or at least just a skeleton of it. You don't have to have all the details, but just carve out a plan, a structure for what that will look like. But yeah, I woke up and I decided I'm just going to list all the things that I am thankful for. And the first thing is I woke up alive, because I promise you, some people woke up dead today. I woke up alive and I had the ability to write in my journal. I'm grateful for that. The ability to recall information. I am grateful for that. My health. I am grateful for that. So one way of applying your happiness today is to write out all the things you are happy for. All the things. And your mind might want to go to what you don't have. Nope. We're not doing that. We are just listing the things that we do have. Start from within. Start from the ability to see the birds flying in this cloudy sky and through the trees. That's a blessing. The ability to hear the wind. That's a blessing. Write down those things and list those things. Everything that you can think of that you are thankful for. Do not allow your mind to go to what you don't have. Just stick to gratitude. So with that, I am going to head off and I'm going to wrap it up by saying this and just kind of reiterate what I talked about today. When you're going through your healing journey, you are going to come in contact with different people who says different things. And sometimes those people know you. And so you're like, okay, let me listen. Sometimes they know you and you're like, oh, that's why they're saying what they're saying. But regardless of the reason, take what people say with a pinch of salt and then do your own work. If someone triggers you, causes your emotions to spike up, go in that direction. Figure out why. Why did that irk you? Why did that bother you so? Find out why. Sometimes you can't do that work by yourself. And that is where you do need an emotional coach like myself to help you navigate those feelings. Other professionals that are licensed and certified, you may need their help depending on the severity of it. Because some of the feelings and emotions you're dealing with, you can't handle by yourself. And it's not a situation where you can just talk to a friend and get through it. Some of them, depending on the complexities, you need different types of people. So have the wisdom to seek out help and assistance. It's not to be frowned upon. It's not, it's not anything to feel bad about. That is you taking care of you. That is self-care. That is you taking care of you. And thank the part of you that actually protected you all these years. Yes, you do have to unlearn some things and reprogram and rewire, but do honor all of your experiences you've had, including the parts of you that kept you safe, that protected you. And apply your happiness every day. Apply happiness every day and throughout the day. Depending on how the day is going, you may have to apply it several times a day, which means you have to find different strategies to apply the lotion called happiness. One of them today that I suggest is journaling. Journaling is not just a diary. It's really a reflective tool. You're able to regurgitate onto those pages, but also you're able to write out what you're thankful for and see that reflected back to you. Okay? So with that, I'm going to leave you. Healing is a journey. It's not a destination per se. You're going to get to a destination as far as there's some areas you're going to be good at. You're just going to be good. You may just have to do some reprogramming and shift some things, but you're good, right? And then there are other areas you find out, because the more you live and you experience life, you're going to get some scratches and bruises. Some of them are going to be worse than others. And so some of the healing is going to be quicker than others. But when you have those tools, you're able to navigate all of that. You're able to navigate and get up and go and so on and so forth. So it's a journey. So be nice to yourself, be gracious to yourself, be kind to yourself for getting you to this point. Be kind to yourself, be nice to yourself, be courteous, be gracious to yourself for getting you to this point. And with that, I am Marsha Kerr Talley, your emotional wellness coach. And my goal is to help you navigate the complexities of your emotions so you can best just live your best life, man. Enjoy life to the fullest. That's what we're here for. Enjoy life. We're not just here for the suffering and the pain part. We're actually here to enjoy life as well. So with that, I've said that like 4 times. I'm out. Have a good day.